Yeah, you go to the link through the website. Click on the Amazon link. Yeah, we get a little bit of credit for it.
I totally forgot about it.
Anybody who orders anything from Amazon, please go to 102 DLG Radio Orlando.
She knows it now.
Shameless plug.
Just a saying. All right, so let's go ahead and fix this real quick. Let's see if I can get Kevin.
I'm so freaking tired.
I'm tired too.
Well, I don't know what it is, but it's like the cat has decided not to sleep in the bed now. I don't know where the cat sleeps, but ordinarily the cat keeps me awake. But now that the cat's not there, I can't sleep without the cat. It's like, what the heck is wrong with me?
Kevin, what the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, there's so much going on this week anyway already, you know? Ryan had his physical today. Tomorrow I have mine. Thursday I have a scout thing I have to go to. Friday's the job fair.
I see the problem. Kevin's going to get a probe up his butt, so he's not too happy.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get a what?
A probe?
It probed up the butt when it.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. They do it through a blood test now.
They just do it to you, Mike, because they know you like it.
They do the blood test, but they are a lot of genuine doctors will still do the fingertip test.
Yeah, my doctor hasn't done that in 2 years. He's just relied on the blood test.
Oh, wait.
Honestly, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's all part of being a guy, and if you want to live healthy and,
Is this what you need?
you just put up with that kind of crap,
Right.
it is what it is.
Something else.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff you put up with as a guy and a woman in life that you just, you just cope with it.
Yeah.
Oh, why am I not seeing you? Oh, that's right, because I've gone a different screen. Like crap, I've got 15 different freaking windows open here. There we are.
I'm fixing something here.
Yeah, I got to close down Facebook, otherwise it messes things up. I've got a light on. How's the lighting? Does my face look all right? No jokes about my face. I'm just making sure it's framed all right. That's all.
No, you're fine.
I got the new Jumbo Shrimp hat.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, I can wear my Daytona Tortugas.
I need to lighten Mike up. Mike's a little.
Are they still Cubs?
Huh?
Are they still a Cubs farm team?
No, the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, all right. They were Cubs for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember watching them play in Lakeland, and they were the Daytona Cubs. I'm like, that's a boring name.
Okay, so Mike and him are good. Let me just make them a little lighter.
Female end and a male end, or just female end?
Where's that banner, Tony?
He's getting it tomorrow.
He gave you that. Don't
See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil.
You can send it.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, listen, sir. You can send it right back to me, sir. Take it back. Yeah, huh?
Yeah, that cuts off my chin, man.
Yeah,
my chin is my best feature.
That's gonna teach you.
Yeah. Where's Jen?
See,
Hey, Jen.
see right back there. Look, see right there. There it is. See, right back there. The
Hey, I
banner.
like that hat, man.
Thank you.
As your shrimps?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the Jumbo Shrimp, man. That's our minor league baseball team.
All right.
Shrimp is in the form of a J. It took me forever to figure that out.
Yeah, I thought it was a joint at first until you showed me it's a shrimp.
I would not be wearing a joint or any kind of
Oh, okay.
marijuana leaf. Y'all know me better than that.
Hey, I thought maybe you got in touch with Brew Monkey or something.
No. Where is Brew anyway? What's happened to him?
He's okay. So his computer crashed about what, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
3.
Yeah.
So he got some pieces in and it didn't work. So he had to wait and get some additional pieces. So they finally came in today. So he's working on the computer today. He should be up and running.
Oh, all right. So there was an embargo on his pieces, and it took him forever to get them.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna punch
So-
you.
Got it.
I said I'm gonna punch you. You did the one thing I hate.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get the show started.
Muting.
Mute.
is brought to you in part by our great friends at Amore Events venue located at 777 Deltona Boulevard, Suite number 18, Deltona, Florida 32725. Looking for a venue for your next company event, weddings, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, and more. Amore Events brings you everything you need to get your next event, making it just right. For information, call 386-259-4164 and let them know that 102 DLG Radio Orlando sent you.
These days, it's not enough to have a website. You need a website and marketing strategy that actually works. You need Orbit Systems Technology Solutions. If you're not happy with your current website supplier, then contact the web development and marketing team at Orbit Systems Technology Solutions. We transform websites for individuals, small and large businesses, as well as nonprofits. We can help you too. Email info@orbitsystems.ca or visit orbitsystems.ca today.
This is the beginning of a revolution.
The voice of our generation.
Hands up in the air now. It's your boy Drizzy Drake.
This is Rihanna.
The Lil Chico Pitbull.
I'm Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, this is Usher. It's your boy Flo Rida, and you're checking out.
Activate.
Yo, this is Ludacris.
What's going on? This is Drake.
It's Tiger Young Money Zone.
It's your boy Wiz Khalifa, man.
This is Big Sean. Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kanye West. It's Jay-Z.
Yo, this is your boy Weezy.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop.
We are live. 102 DLG Radio Orlando, and we are broadcasting all the way from good old Central Florida. And it is going to be a very interesting show for you. But before we go ahead and get into the show, let me go ahead and say again a happy belated Memorial Day to everyone out there who's ever served our country. And we appreciate everything that you guys have done. Oh, what the heck? There we go. I'm sorry. I'm telling
Gas.
you. Yeah. Intergestion, baby. I got to give you some new chords. I got to do it. It's driving me crazy. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take the time to say hello to everyone on Twitch. We're broadcasting live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. So if you're watching on my personal Facebook, or if you're listening to us on the regular 102 DOG Radio Orlando page on Facebook, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're listening to us on 102 DLG Radio Orlando, hello to you too as well. Make sure you go ahead and share the broadcast. Tonight we got a great show for you, but let's go ahead and do what we do here, and that is introduce the team, the crew here at 102 DLG Radio. And this week we'll start out in a whole different order, and I'm going to kick Jen's ass because she come on.
I'm sorry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of which, kicking a Jen's ass. And she's actually filling in for the professor's seat tonight, but she's also filling in for her own seat. And here is our good buddy, Jen, the groomer. How you doing, Miss Jen?
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Good, until you hit the live audio.
I didn't mean to.
The live audio button. Oh my God! I thought you were Michael with the Professor Benson for a minute there.
I'm sitting
Just
seeing
kidding.
him filling it in perfect.
Just kidding.
Don't touch the button.
Don't touch the buttons. Oh my
My
goodness.
phone is muted, but I just
Yeah,
forgot
that's what she
the
said.
wide wink.
Also joining us from Jacksonville, Florida, is our good buddy. He's in the ice hole or the ice cave or whatever hole he wants to be in. He's no other than Kevin the Iceman Tapey. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. I am here. I am in the ice hole. It is cold in this room as usual, but I kind of like it cold because that just fits who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
listen, Kevin, next week he's not going to be here with us. He's actually be on a nice little cruise, so I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm going to be hot next week. About this time next week, we will have left Grand Cayman and we'll have been out about 2 hours from Grand Cayman. So, it's tough life, but somebody's got to live it.
Jealous much? And also joining us all the way from Deltona, Florida, and I'm talking about my good friend, Michael, the Professor Benson. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How's everybody else?
Good, man. Me and Mike actually got together this past weekend. We sat down, had some great conversation. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But in the meantime, we're going to go to our friend out in Chicago. I'm talking about DJ Tony Sanchez. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How's
Who
everybody?
now wishes to be referred to as Hall of Famer DJ Tony Sanchez.
I'm still humbled by that, man. I'm still trying to get used to that. For real.
Hey,
y'all want to see how we do it in Chicago when we don't have air conditioning in our cars?
Sure. I'm afraid
Check
to
this
ask.
out. Check this out.
Oh, you put the AC in the window.
Nice.
No, look. You see the generator? See the generator on top?
Yes.
That's crazy. That is nuts.
Only in the shop, baby.
Only in the
Only
shop.
in the shop.
So listen, actually, okay. So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned that we're actually going to induct our good buddy DJ Tony Sanchez on the 18th. However, we're going to do it next week instead because the 18th I will not be around. Something came up where I would not be around, and of course, our good friend Jen is not going to be in town either.
I'll be in town. I'll just be down in Orlando.
Yeah, so there will be no show on the 18th. So we're going to do it next week. So we're going to move it up a extra week. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're actually doing a lot of preparation for this. And all I'm going to say, Tony, is you better prepare yourself.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
Tony.
I'm excited. I am truly excited.
We
man,
are
and truly honored.
We are going to roast your ass.
Look. I've been roasted before. I ain't scared.
We're going to roast your ass, but the most important thing is
You're going to enjoy it.
you're going to enjoy it, but you're really going to enjoy it because it's really going to come from Michael the Professor Benson. He's really going to roast your ass pretty well, too.
That's what I'm waiting on, man. Can't wait.
Hey, it's so bad you're gonna have birth.
Oh, my God.
I fainted.
I got DJ Smoking Lou over to the chat.
That's what they call overcooked ribs. Birth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't. It all starts. Hey, what's up, DJ Smoking Lou? We see you.
This is fantastic, though, man. You can't beat that.
No, you can't.
Got a generator on top of the car, and then
With the air
literally
conditioner.
with the AC
Now,
popping
see,
out of the window.
that's something I'd expect to see in Alabama.
Oh no, man! Oh man! Oh man! I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alabama.
Ladies and gentlemen,
In Chicago, you're so used to it being sub-below zeros that when it does, when just 70-degree weather comes, they're sweating. So
It's people out here right now sweating. We just about in what we at? Oh, we 82 today, so.
yeah.
oh 82, dude, we're like at 97, 98.
With the heat index over 100.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll switch with you. We'll take the 82.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool, man. I've been waiting for this, man. I've been waiting for this kind of weather. Now, I've been hearing people out here bitching and complaining that it's too hot. I'm like, man, please, go jump in the lake. Please.
Yeah, you gotta-
You know what I'm saying, man? It's been cold forever, raining forever, man. Please.
You guys are nuts. Guys, if you want to join us on the live broadcast today, you can. You can head on over and check us out over on appear.com. Appear.in / the Weekly Rundown Radio Show. And hey, listen, I want to show you guys something cool that we're bringing into the show that we haven't done before. Actually, now we can actually see what everybody's writing. Let's go ahead and get to today's show because we got kind of quite a bit to talk about, and it should be very, very interesting at that.
It's an odd show.
It is. And speaking of odd, we're gonna go ahead and get started with Iceman because he's, kind of odd.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. Well, and the story that I wanted to talk about I posted it earlier this morning that I wanted to talk about the travel ban to Cuba, and over the last 3 hours, that story has completely changed to the point now where I have enough information to kind of not put it to bed, but at least clarify things for people who might have Cuba trips scheduled on cruise ships. So earlier today, the Trump administration banned travel to Cuba for what they were calling personal and cultural experiences. And to put a little history on this, the last administration decided to ease restrictions on travel to Cuba, allowing cruise ships and Americans to travel to Cuba for what the Cubans would call personal and cultural experiences, meaning you couldn't just go there and go wherever the heck you wanted. You had to go there for a personal or cultural experience, and the Cuban government kind of determined what those personal and cultural experiences were. So if you were getting off a cruise ship, you had to take an excursion. The excursion was approved by the government, and it had to have certain components met, and that's how they were allowing passengers to come into Cuba. Now, there were a lot of restrictions that went with it. You had to have a passport, you had to buy Cuban health insurance, and you had to shop with Cuban tourist currency. Well, and this is kind of weird how this all ties in, but last month there was a failed coup attempt in Venezuela, and the Cuban government was seen to be behind Nicolas Maduro's government in Cuba, the communist government there. And I guess our current administration wasn't happy with that, and I guess I can understand why. And he's decided to ban all future travel to Cuba. As of this morning, it wasn't clear how that was going to affect people with booked travel. But just within the last 15 minutes, cruise lines are now announcing on Twitter that they are changing those itineraries, even the ones that are leaving tomorrow that are scheduled to go to Cuba. They're now taking Cuba out of the itinerary. So if you have a trip scheduled to go to Cuba, you're probably not going to go for the foreseeable future. And if you've booked Cuba, you may want to get in touch with your agent to find out exactly what's going to happen, to see if the price is going to change and where you're possibly going to go. But that's what's happened now. At first we had no idea. Now it appears that the ban will take effect tomorrow, and it means no further travel. They're going to allow air travel still for certain circumstances. There's probably a dozen or so flights a day out of Miami International to go to Havana.
Wow.
But
as they say, there's a penalty for your of consequences for your actions, and they're gonna feel it, and they're gonna feel it in the worst way.
And we've the funny thing is we've said that since the Cuban Missile Crisis in the '60s, but the only nation on the planet that still embargoes Cuba is the United States, and I think the American people have sort of an incomplete picture of our relationship with Cuba. They don't really understand that, to a limited sense, we still do business with them, even though there's an embargo. We have a military base on the island of Cuba, Guantanamo Bay. I'm sure most people have heard of it, and not a lot of people realize that it's on the island of Cuba on the tip.
Yeah.
Humanitarian aid. We have American companies that send humanitarian supplies to Cuba. They ship it there. We do have flights back and forth between Cuba. There is a diplomatic relationship between the two countries that's fairly recent, although there were some people living in the American embassy in Cuba who were starting to get sick for mysterious reasons. So now there's limited staff in the embassy in Havana.
That's crazy.
So it will be interesting to see where this goes. But for now, travel to Cuba by cruise ship is halted.
That's crazy.
And that's official within the last hour. I just saw Royal Caribbean tweet out that they are changing the itineraries for the next 2 cruises going to Cuba on the 5th and 6th, and that they continue to monitor the situation, which is code for nothing going to change anytime soon.
Yeah. Before we go on with the show real quick, I want to say hello to a lot of people on Facebook right now. We got a lot of people watching. We got that Brew Monkey who's watching us on Facebook. Also, Miss Ruthie who's tuning in for the first time into the show. We got Miss Jen. I got George Trillinger listening to the broadcast right now on Facebook. Georgie, we miss you, my friend. And then, so we those are a couple of names that are out there. But listen, I love cruising. I really, really do. To hear this, it's kind of crazy because actually my wife and I, we were thinking about taking a cruise this coming September for our wedding anniversary. And now that this was brought up, and then this was being kind of rumored around for a little while, and I actually hit Kevin up earlier. I was like, dude, I was asking him questions because, I was like, listen, if we go to Cuba, I mean, are we going to need a passport? So we're just discussing little things, and all of a sudden, this came up. So now we might not even be able to take this type of trip and think we haven't booked anything yet, because we might not even be able to go to that beautiful land.
And it's an interesting thing because there's a lot of differing opinion on Cuba, and one of those is you have a lot of Americans who, lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they have the opinion, we're not going to support a dictatorship. We're not going to put money in their pockets. We're not going to, contribute to communism. Yet they have no problem buying items from China and putting Venezuelan gas in their car. But I'm one of those people that I would love to go to Cuba, even if it was just for one visit on a cruise. But if that's not going to happen, then oh well. Part of the reason the relationship changed in the first place was that Fidel Castro died, and his brother Raul was seen to be a little bit more progressive and less militant, so to speak. And he was seen to be more open to relations with the United States. And that's part of the reason there's an embassy there now, is because he allowed it. And, to what extent they're involved in the situation in Venezuela, who knows? I'm assuming somebody at the upper level of the U.S. government knows that. There's speculation and all, but if there was involvement, this is the one way that the government knows how to punish another country without going in with boots on the ground, is to hit them in the wallet where it hurts. And cruising and tourism has brought in a ton of money to Cuba since the very first cruise back in 2015, I want to say, when Fathom first made their first trip there. And they've been cruising regularly ever since. And they brought in a lot of money, so much so that American companies were looking at rebuilding some of the infrastructure in the ports and harbors to allow larger ships to go in. Cruise lines made crazy decisions to keep older tonnage because the harbors were too small and they needed smaller ships to get in. So Royal Caribbean kept 2 of their oldest ships in the fleet and modernized them because those were the only 2 they could get into the harbor. So, I mean, there were a lot of decisions made based on, getting into the Cuban market. And if you've cruised out of Florida, chances are you've been to the Bahamas once or twice or 20 times, and you're ready for something new.
Yep.
Well, here's the deal. Beware of what you want, because a leopard never changes its spots, meaning Cuba. They can go over there and invest, but I guarantee you, eventually Cuba's going to blow it again, and they're going to totally shut it down. And that these companies are going to be, more than out of luck. They're going to be bankrupt and broke.
Well, they're going to be out of assets because, and I think, the model for that is Venezuela. If you look at Venezuela, they took over all assets, whether they were Venezuelan owned or not.
and everything for a little vacation and stuff, and they ended up going and telling him he had to go on an excursion. If he didn't go on an excursion, he couldn't come back for 5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Now, that was my very next question. Now, with this thing being like it is right now, and the latest recent articles that I've been reading lately about cruises and tourists coming up missing and being found dead and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think it might be, like something going on there with?
Well, typically I would say probably in a year, there's probably maybe anywhere between 5 and 10 people that go missing a year from a ship. And generally speaking, unless you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, you can't fall off a cruise ship.
Right.
It's not like you can just be walking, walking and the wind blows you and you
stumble over the rail. Yeah.
You can't do it. I mean, the rail comes up to my chest. In order for me to fall over the rail, I have to climb up on a table or a chair and put more of my weight over the rail. So generally, when someone falls off a ship, there's a couple of reasons why. One, they jumped. 2, someone threw them over. Or 3, they were doing something they shouldn't. And there's a video out on YouTube that if you want to watch, it's a guy who decided to jump off the Oasis of the Seas, ended up on top of a lifeboat, changed his mind about going overboard, and the video shows him falling over. Cruising is the thing I worry about the most on a ship is, just weather, just being in the seas. I worry about that more than anything else. But again, if you're not doing something stupid, you're not going to fall.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a case in Miami of a I think she was between 5 and 9 years old. She was young, and she fell from like deck 7 in the lobby all the way down to the base of the lobby. And their parents are suing the cruise line, but they allowed the girl to climb up on the chair, and get up to the rail level where she could go over. It's not the line's fault that she misused furniture and climbed up the furniture and went over the edge. There's
no negligence.
You can't prevent certain things, But I mean, the most famous case of a missing person is that the guy that had recently gotten married to his wife, and they were in the Med, and there was no idea how he went over. And that's part of the reason why cruise liners have cameras everywhere now, is because at the time there weren't cameras everywhere, and they had no idea where the guy went over, how he went over, or anything. All they know is he turned up missing.
Wow.
And his wife was like, I don't know where he went.
I think his wife threw him over. She probably caught him in a room with someone else.
Oh my god.
I don't know. They had just gotten married. I don't know what happened, but he disappeared. I think his name was George something. But now they have some of the ships have what I'm not sure what the technical name for it is, but it's like a motion system that if something goes overboard, there's an alarm that goes off. So in addition to the cameras that they can watch, they have an alarm that will go off if something large enough to trip it goes over the side. Because one of the cruise lines has had issues with people throwing furniture over the side. Not sure why you do that, but whatever.
Maybe they were just bored.
They have the same problem in New Orleans where they jump off the ferries and commit suicide.
Yeah. And then there was the guy that jumped off the Royal Caribbean ship in the Bahamas just to see if he could do it when they were in port.
Oh my goodness.
And he was met at the pier and escorted off the ship and banned from their line for life. So it's not worth it, folks.
So George Trillinger, he says, before Castro took power, the mob was trying to make Havana a mini Las Vegas, hotel casinos with beautiful beaches and a true vacation destination. He says when the government was overthrown, this all went away. He says it would have been interesting to see what have been if the casinos would have been brought into millions of tourists and millions of dollars.
He's right. The Tropicana is still there, and it's a hot spot if you're a foreign tourist and you can go. As an American, you can't go there because you have to be on a tour to do it. But back before the Castros took power, there were cruise ships. Of course, it wasn't really cruising at the time. It was sort of, but they would leave New York and New Jersey, and they would sail to Cuba. And that was the reason they went, was because it was gambling and entertainment, and the mob ran it, and it was
Yeah.
it was incredibly profitable. Cuba was the place to go.
The words New York, New Jersey go hand in hand with mob.
Yeah, and they were setting up an island paradise, a lot like you would see in Vegas now. It was quite. And today, even today, it's there are more classic American cars on the streets in Cuba than there are in some cities in the U.S. because they just don't sell new cars. You're on a list forever and a year to get a car there, and there's no guarantee you're going to get a new one.
They don't have any money.
Yeah.
Right, they don't. They're not making. And there's two different currencies in Cuba. There's currency that the locals use, and then there's currency that the tourists use. And and pretty much everybody makes the same amount of money, no matter what your job is. And then they have rolling blackouts at night so that the power isn't on. It's an interesting country to live in, and it would be nice to see a more open government there that would allow the people to prosper and allow the people to, because Cuba is an amazing country from what I've heard. Natural resources. I mean, they make some of the best cigars in the world. They make some of the best rum in the world, and they're not allowed to profit from their own resources.
I can vouch for
And
that
it's sad.
Puerto
It really is.
You're just an alcoholic. So moving on, right? So we were talking a little bit ago, actually, Tony Sanchez brought up a topic considering a Dominican couple, a couple that went from Maryland to the Dominican Republic for some fun in the sun. And as many of us know, that they were trying to enjoy their vacation, of course. On their way to the Dominican Republic, they were staying at a resort, and fortunately, this couple was found dead in their resort hotel room.
And that's, and that's interesting that came up, because I just read a story about a woman who went to the Dominican with her husband, and she decided to go to a bar or a lounge at the resort at 10 o'clock at night by herself. And some guy beat the hell out of her and left her for dead. And, first off, if you're going to a resort, be smart, especially if you're in a foreign country. And, we went to the Dominican on a cruise, and our tour guide said, when you're at a resort, stay at the resort, stay around the security, don't leave the resort, because no one can guarantee your safety, because it's just not safe. And he said it's not the Dominicans you have to worry about. Of course, he said it was the Haitians, but of course, he's a Dominican, so what else would you say? I don't know.
So it's being stated, as I'm looking at the article, it says that the Dominican Republic National Police announced that an autopsy found that the couple had respiratory failure, quote unquote, and pulmonary edema.
From what? Beaten, asphyxiated, strangled, what? I mean, to me, you don't both die of the same cause. You just
Thank you.
It's saying that medication for high blood pressure was found in the room. Let's see. Holmes' daughter spoke to the NBC affiliate saying it should have never had happened. That's all it's really saying. So, to me, it sounds kind of fishy.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. But, again, if you're going on vacation anywhere outside of the U.S., even in Europe, be smart about your surroundings. But, I mean, anywhere in the Caribbean you go.
Even in the U.S.
Well, yeah, in the U.S. too. I mean, shoot.
The Dominican Republic still has a major class system that they use, so very cautious who you are and where you are.
Yeah, I mean, as countries go, the Dominican the Dominican isn't as bad as some of the other ones are, because it is prosperous. They do have industry, and they've done a really good job of conserving their natural resources on their island. And they do have as the guy told us, they're making moves in the right direction, but they share the island with Haiti. And that brings a new set of problems for them, because Haiti is exactly the opposite. I mean, I think, how did he compare it? He said it's kind of like living in, he didn't quite say a mansion. He said it's like living in a house next to a community of tents, because he said it's rough, because there's a Haitian problem for the Dominican Republic.
So listen to this. I'm reading the article a little bit further. It says that this is the second black couple to die in the Dominican Republic in the last few months. In April,
Yeah.
Wow.
there was another couple that passed away, and they were reported that missing after they left the resort and pre-dawn hours and then drove back to the airport.
See,
then,
and that's what I'm saying, man.
That's
You
crazy.
know, as much as people want to go on cruises, and I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think is wise. Really, I don't. Cruises is not like they used to be.
They're not.
So
In some ways, well, of course not, because now you're talking about floating cities. You're not talking about, and it was a funny story. I was talking to someone the other day about cruising, and when I first cruised in '97, the ship was 77,000 tons, and it was 2,500
it was
passengers.
25. Yep.
And many. Well, now I can sail on a ship that has, 6,000 people on board, 3 times the number. And, I'm not necessarily worried about the crew on the ship. I'm worried about the people sailing with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's kind of the thing I think about is who's sailing with me. There was a cruise out of Tampa a year ago, I guess, where this couple was terrorized by a group of teenagers on the ship, and that kind of concerns me that, you have that kind of stuff going on. But then again, cruises are now at a point where airlines are. Airlines are inexpensive, and it doesn't cost a whole lot to go on them, so pretty much anybody can afford them. So, and you have people who go on them who, have other intentions. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I'm going to read one more. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, safety is in numbers. Go with multiple people if you're going to do it for life.
George says many crimes are committed in the tourist areas in foreign ports. Cruise ships passengers are big targets, from taxi scams to straight up robbery. He says most of the publicized are not publicized because it's bad for business. You have to be very careful when you explore cruise ship foreign ports.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first thing I say is, first off, don't look like a tourist, and second, don't wear your cruise ship badge off the ship.
Yeah.
Keep
Thank
it in
you.
your pocket.
And
Thank you.
And that's why he says
Because
he says that's why ships recommend excursions instead.
Yeah, I had a client who they ended up going on a Caribbean cruise and everything. I don't remember what port they ended up getting off at, but they wanted, a group of them had gone off, and her husband were going to go one way, and the tour guide person was like, no. And they were like, what? They're like, you stay with us. And they were like, why? And they were like, if you go out, you dead. She's like,
Yeah.
we're going with you. We're
Hell yeah, it is. I'm sticking with the tour guide.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's 2. We're doing Belize, and we're doing a shore excursion in Belize and it's not even going to the shore. It's going from the ship to an island. And then Grand Cayman is probably one of
Hey
the
guys, we have a guest coming on. Hold on one second. Go ahead, George.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, bud.
Go ahead, George.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
All right. Yeah, I take a lot of cruises. You got to really be careful. I entertain on a lot of different cruises that go to different ports. And your best bet is to do a ship excursion where you go with a group and it's supervised. You really take your safety in your own hands. Go exploring, whether it's Mexico or the Caribbean or Jamaica. And to some ports, they'll tell you don't leave the terminal. You really ask for trouble. So it's just common sense. It's a lot of fun, a lot of activities, and of course the entertainment and the food. It's a great way to go. You have to. A lot of Americans just have never been abroad. They've never been to a foreign country. So you have to be really, really careful.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like I said, I was saying to Kevin and them, I said, look, we want to go to Cuba for our anniversary, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen anymore because we like, even though Cuba is a beautiful country, we're not going to be able to do that. We wanted to go visit the Dominican Republic too, but all this crap that's going on, you can forget about it. I'll just keep going
Yes,
to,
sir.
I'll be forgetting other planes. I'll be going to Texas instead, I guess.
Come to Chicago.
Chicago. Chicago. All right, guys.
Safe.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to pay some bills real quick. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Spread the love, y'all. 102 DLG Radio Orlando.
This is Butch Patrick, well known as Eddie Munster from the classic television series The Munsters. You're listening to my favorite radio station in Orlando, 102 DLG Radio FM.
These days, it's not enough to have a website. You need a website and marketing strategy that actually works. You need Orbit Systems Technology Solutions. If you're not happy with your current website supplier, then contact the web development and marketing team at Orbit Systems Technology Solutions. We transform websites for individuals, small and large businesses, as well as nonprofits. We can help you too. Email info@orbitsystems.ca or visit orbitsystems.ca today.
Today's show is brought to you apart by our great friends at XSplit. If you're looking for great video broadcasting software, then XSplit has what you need. XSplit allows users to live stream and broadcast directly to the internet streaming platforms, making recordings so much easier for uploading. One of the #1 broadcasting softwares to date that brings you quality, great quality that is, to professional and gamecasters around the world, all for an affordable price. Pick up your XSplit today by going over to our official website, www.102dlgradioorlando.com, and click on the advertisement banner to get started. Pick up your copy of XSplit and help change the world.
We are back. 102 DLG Radio Orlando. The DLG broadcast is live, of course, with their weekly rundown radio show. And we got some very interesting topics. If you guys are just tuning in now, you definitely don't want to miss out. Because going next is our good friend, Ms. Jen. We'll save the professor for last for his subject. But Jen, so we got to save the best for last, puppy. Gotta save the best for last, puppy. You know how that goes. Jen has a very interesting topic, which is also a very sensitive subject. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, if anybody who's gonna listen to this broadcast right now, please be 18 years old older, because again, we don't want any children listening to this next upcoming topic. We don't think it'll be appropriate for them. So, Jen, go ahead and take over, my dear.
Hey, Jen, just a second. Hey, they need to be 18 or older to hear about her citronella blow up.
That wasn't me, actually. It was just a post, but I do have to admit I did do that one time.
I didn't mean to laugh out loud. No. Mike made me do that. I didn't mean to laugh out loud.
No, hey.
Listen, that was funny.
It was hilarious because I was a little down, and I am a part of a certain group on Facebook, and I read that. And I was laughing so hard, I actually had tears coming out of my eyes. My stomach was hurting. And I'm reading it, and it's like, oh my God, I did it too.
Listen, I thought it was actually happened to you. When I read it, I was like, what a stupid ass. But then, yeah, then I kind of figured out it wasn't you at the
Then
end.
it did, but yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead, Jen. What's your topic for tonight?
And gentlemen, I do highly apologize for this topic, but anyway, Alabama has been going, and there was a bill that Alabama lawmakers were trying to go and put into law to where anyone that will end up going in, particularly males that will end up going in having any type of convicted sex crime against children under the age of 13, they will be chemically castrated to where they will
Wait, say that again.
Chemical castration.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alabama, huh?
Alabama. And they were wanting to go and put that into law earlier today, and just a little while ago I ended up seeing that they had passed it, and now it is law in Alabama. If anyone has been convicted of a sex crime on a child under the age of 13, you will be chemically castrated.
Alabama.
Roll Tide, roll Tide.
But I also just ended up seeing that there was an article for a gentleman that was in Pasco County, Florida, who they are going to be going and they want to have the chemical castration done on him and everything. I mean, I'm not a man hater by any means. I respect a lot of men, but I have no respect for you if you ever lay a hand or sexually molest a child or anything like that. You're just a disgusting person.
I just have one question. What are they going to do to the women who molest children?
They're going to castrate their boobies.
And that's unknown. It's unknown too with what they're going to do with women, but as of right now, that's what they're going to do to the men.
Yikes, that's crazy.
I say castrate them. They won't get any more kids.
Hey, look, that's the worstest sin anyone can ever come up to think of, to do something to a child. You know what I'm saying? So I'm for it, man. They should have been done this long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, just like, see, that's why I love China the way they do. They catch a thief, they cut off his fucking hand. You know, you catch a pedophile or a rapist that's doing something to kids, then you take the shit. Roll Tide, roll. I'm for that.
I just have one question. To what end are we doing this? What does it solve exactly?
It says that they will end up. It says the bill will introduce by the state. Steve Hurst hopes that this type of punishment will make sex offenders think twice about doing it.
Okay, but will it prevent them from doing it again?
Probably not, but in that note, it will probably discourage them from wanting to do anything because they're going to be scarred and everything down there.
Well, I mean, if it's chemically done, then they're not taking anything away. They're just inducing sterility. That's all they're doing.
Chemical sterilization will drive their sex drive down, their urge to want to do that away, and like you said, sterilization. So here's the deal. You got to understand, probably 99.9% of all child molesters, pedophiles, have already committed multiple acts.
Right.
Yeah.
Before they're ever caught, and they're gonna repeat even once. Generally, unless they're really rehabbed. I mean, rehab like they're watched 100% of the time. They commit once they get out of prison. That's all they know. That's their sickness. So by chemical castration, they're not going to castrate any more children.
Okay, we actually got a comment coming in from Facebook, and this is a very interesting one. This is coming from Alicia. She says, I have them all live in a house together, make them check in, go through counseling because it's a mental issue that needs to be addressed within themselves.
They already do it, Alicia.
Well, and they already are registered.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
part of their already.
Apart,
I mean, here it is. They get paroled. They're told they can't live within so many blocks, so many miles, whatever, from kid schools and all this stuff,
yeah,
and they still catch them doing it.
yeah.
So the sickness
Well-
is it's not going to go away until they figure out a way to make it go away.
Well, and in some cases when they are registered, it has the unintended consequence of driving property values down in the neighborhood
Right.
where they live.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that now, in addition to allegedly penalizing the criminal, you're now penalizing everyone that lives around them because they can't sell their homes for what they're worth because there's a sign at the end of the street that says this person lives there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, but to me, penalizing the residents of a neighborhood, there's got to be some, because I, as a person, can't control who moves in next door to me. I can't say, no, we can't let this person move in next door to me. And our neighborhood fits the description because there isn't a school anywhere near my house. There's not one within a mile of my house.
Yeah.
So somebody could move into my neighborhood. They'd have to register. Anyone potentially wanting to buy my neighborhood would then look at and say, oh, this person lives there. I'm not going to move there. And I may never get what my house is worth. I'm not saying they shouldn't register. I'm just saying that there has to be, and if this solution will fix the issue, then maybe I support it. But if it's not going to fix the issue and it's just to be, meant as a preventative punishment, then you start with something else. Because to me, if it's not going to solve the problem, then why are we doing it?
Exactly.
I mean, to me, outside of killing them, which would ultimately stop the problem, not that I'm advocating that, mind you, I'm just saying,
Right.
if chemically
Now, I wanna
inducing sterility solves the problem,
I'd like to have some parents call in if they could, but they can't right now. But and tell me what they think, especially those whose children have been sexually molested by someone.
Well,
Let's see what
it's
their
not
comment would be.
necessarily that they would have to end up having them actual call. It'd be nice if they could, but I'm sure that they don't want their children's business out like that.
Somebody who have see their
Yeah.
point of view on. I think they would give you a really realistic answer, Kevin.
well, and I understand that, but I'm just saying that, and my point is I'm just saying, I'm asking the question, does it do something physically that prevents future incidents from taking place? If that's the case, then, and there's science to back it up, and you've allowed, let me finish, and you've allowed them their appeals and they're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and it will solve the issue and prevent future incidents, then fine, go with it. But if it won't, then I say, okay, then why are we doing it?
Understand your point of view, but realize this: when a pedophile commits the act, generally, and I think it's 80%. I'm not sure the actual numbers anymore, but it's generally somebody the family has a good relationship or
Always.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And now now not only has he ruined a child's life, made it more difficult, and put a lot of mental aspects in there, but he just ruined a family existence because
True.
now so, and I think that has a lot to do with why they're talking about this is because, and then how many families has he ruined?
Mm-hmm.
Not one.
Yeah.
No, they're repeats.
And again, I look at it from the perspective of, I'm saying, if scientifically it changes something to where this won't happen again, then I say go for it. If not, then first off, should we be allowing them back on the street? If it's likely to happen again, should we be allowing them back on the street? Probably not.
Well, I think an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Let's line him up, put him in prison, and line him up.
Well, I mean, that's what they do in China. They shoot you and send you a bill for the bullet.
Yeah.
But are you willing to go that route?
Exactly.
And, I'm not saying whether I will or not. I'm just saying,
Alicia also goes on. She's writing some more stuff on Facebook. She says exactly. She said they need extreme mental health counseling. Most of them were sexually abused when they were younger, It's just going to be ongoing cycle if it isn't formally addressed with meds or counseling.
They already get canceled. Part of their parole, Alicia, is counseling. Part of their parole is mental health awareness. Part of their parole is coping with it and dealing with it. But 80% of them choose not to. They repeat.
I say,
and if this will prevent that 80% from happening again, then I say go with it. But if not, then.
But Kevin, they're already doing that. That's the point. That's part of their parole when they get out.
I'm talking about this procedure. Oh. If this procedure will prevent that 80%, then I say fine. But if it doesn't, then I don't understand the point of it.
Well, there's a lot of pros and cons on that, just like the death penalty.
All I would say,
if we're doing it to be vindictive, that's one thing, and if that's what it is, then let's just say that. But if there's some sort of scientific proof that says this will physiologically change them in a Clockwork Orange kind of way to prevent them from doing this activity again, then I'm all right with it. But if it's just to do vengeful, then I don't quite understand. Just keep them in prison if that's the case.
So,
to
me, that's the simple solution. That will prevent it for sure.
Well, they could do shock therapy, but that doesn't work. We can go back and start putting probes on their head and train them.
I mean,
is that going to work? Who knows?
It didn't work, and that's why we don't do it anymore. It didn't work.
Is it going to work? Who knows what's going to work anymore?
So, what will work is keeping them in prison. That will work. That will prevent them from doing it again. I guarantee it.
So Jen actually has something else you wanted to bring up real quick. Go ahead, Jen. Are you good? Okay, she said never mind. Okay, so Mike, go ahead and get into your subject for the evening, my friend.
What was my subject? I forgot.
Oh,
CRS is real, I tell you.
CRS. Alicia says I need to be a guest speaker on the show. The last time we had you on the show got canceled. Oh, wait a minute! Not you.
Oh.
You and Shakira. Was it one episode called? What is it? Dose of Reality. Yeah, there you go.
So the dose of reality is no.
I'm kidding. I'm messing around. All right. Hey, what's up, Ruthie? All right, go ahead, guys. Go, Mike.
Okay. Just want to talk about my nonprofit. Me and Lewis and Tina and her son Donna are now chairman of a company called, what is it, Lewis? See if you remember it.
West Volusia Cancer Aid.
There you go. And that's CANCERADE, Cancer Aid, West Volusia Cancer Aid. So I got all the licensure this week. So we are now the proud owners of a nonprofit 501c3 LLC. And we'll start fundraising now here in the near future. We're going to get our website done. We're going to get the Facebook going with our Facebook page, Twitter. And Mr. Lewis will be the web designer. He will be the social media VP. He will be marketing VP also, doing marketing also with us. So he's going to have a lot of hats to wear as well as I will. I am the CEO, by the way. I like to say that word CEO. Because it's fun. But no. Lewis and Tina were a big help in my fundraiser that we did. And they really made it happen. It wasn't me who made that happen. That was Tina and Lewis who did that. So I said after the event,
and George.
Yes. I'm saying George did more than enough. I mean, George jumped out of the box and actually gave us entertainment and made a lot of people have a really joyful night. So yeah, George, hat goes off to George. We couldn't replicate that in a thousand years. What he did for us there, really pulled it out of the hat and saved us. As well as everybody who donated to the cause, as well as all of the people who donated items for our silent auction. We had people just give us cash out of, just handed us cash and left and right. And it was a joint venture from our community, our church, friends, business owners. I mean, everybody pitched in. But I was really taken back by what took place and happened. So anyway, what I decided to do at that point was go ahead and do a nonprofit, and we talked about it, and it seemed like it wasn't going to happen for a while, and finally we got a CPA, and she jumped on it and took care of it, and now we're there. It's kind of surreal. All of a sudden, you're this, and you've been thinking about it, and it comes to fruition, and hopefully we can change a lot of lives. Hopefully I can get Lewis on a salary where he doesn't even have to work. He can just do this for me. If we can raise enough money and generate the cash flow, then we can start paying salaries to the people who are doing the job. So that's the goal. Not only reward the people who need the help, but the people behind the scenes who are making it possible for those people to get the help. So that's my goal, and wish us luck.
I want to go ahead and kind of mention something real quick. I haven't talked to Mike about this yet, but there was actually a young lady that appeared on our show 9 years ago. She was a guest on our show, and plus she's a music artist. Very, very sweet young girl. Her name is Elizabeth Lingham. She actually works in the music industry right now, and she's she's looking for managing independent artists and stuff like that. I spoke to her recently, and we actually caught up yesterday. She actually wrote to me, and she was like, "Hey, what's going on? It's been a long time." And I was like, "Yeah, we just kind of talked a little bit, and I asked her what she's been up to lately. And unfortunately, she told me that she's actually battling colon cancer right now." And
wow.
And she's probably maybe late 20s, maybe very early 30s, and she's been I guess battling this battle for a little while. And I said to her, "Hey, listen, I can relate, and I'm deeply sorry that you're going through this stuff." I said, "Listen, it's been a long time since you've been on the show." I said, "We would like to extend the offer to have you come on the show and maybe come share your story with us as well." And I think it'll be a cool thing for her and Mike. To maybe talk and kind of share stories and stuff like that, and maybe we can collab and do something together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
amen.
Definitely bring her. It's funny. Chemo it kills everything in your body cell wise.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and you may have read my Facebook post sometimes. It's funny how when you're getting chemo. And after chemo, that first week after chemo, you have euphoric things come to you. It's like a euphoric brain tease hit you, where you just all your collective thoughts come together at the same time. Mm-hmm. So this past week, I've had all kinds of stuff since we got the news coming to my head about marketing ideas. I mean, just flooding my mind, and there's one I have that I think I might do. You know how you go in businesses and they have a jar up there for a donation jar, and people donate money to the cup for the jar for things? Well, I'm thinking about doing that, but I'm going to call it the Faces of Hope, and I'm going to actually have actual faces of cancer patients going through cancer right now on the jars, because that's what it's about. And the Faces of Hope, and solicit businesses and see if they'll let us put them in their businesses, and we can go around and collect them, and that'll be another fundraiser that we can use to help fund the patients who need it in our community, as well as help us get started funding the benefits we want to do for these people. You know what I mean? So that'll give us some cash flow to start. That's just one idea that came to me. I have a couple other ideas on the books that I'll talk to you and Tina about that. Just came to me. It just I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden my mind just starts running. It's weird, but that's how it happens. So, and I'm gonna propose that if any of you have an idea, please bring it to me.
Actually, sorry,
any
Mike.
You have, bring them to me. If I'm not available, or you know what, bring them to Lewis, because you guys are in contact with Lewis more than I am, and let him know what you're thinking, and we'll hash it around, because any ideas we have, we'll collectively decide on it. I will not be it's going to be my way or the highway. It'll be a collective decision based on Tina, Lewis, and myself.
So one of the things that Mike and I sat down for lunch or dinner the other day, and we had a conversation, And we were throwing around some ideas and stuff. I said, "Hey, Mike, what kind of be a cool thing is, we're actually sitting at this restaurant, and even though I'm gonna mention them because they're not sponsoring us, but Texas Roadhouse, we went there, we sat down, and I said, Mike, what kind of be a cool idea? We're walking out the door. I said, you know what? Maybe we should reach out to Texas Roadhouse and say, hey, we know you guys do fundraisers and stuff like that. Maybe they can, provide them all the information that they need." And say, hey, listen, maybe you guys can dedicate maybe one day out of the month and just take any proceeds that come to the door and just share, I don't know, just a portion of the proceeds and just put it towards the organization, which I thought was a cool idea. And said maybe you can go forward doing that with other restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just have to get with is it franchise? Is it a corporate factor? Because dealing with a franchise, they still fall under the corporate responsibility of how they do their fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find out who is running the organization. Is it a franchise? Is it a corporation? Is it a corporate run franchise? We have to know that. So hopefully this Texas Roadhouse is just a franchisee of Texas Roadhouse, and they can make the decisions on their own in their local government. But if it was like a Walmart, everything that Walmart does, Kevin knows, it goes to corporate, so that person at the store has no control.
Mm-hmm.
And really, to make an impact with corporations like that, you have to be able to fly out to their corporate office, meet with their philanthropic part of their business, and they'll decide who gets what, or if they're even interested in doing something like that. So that's where we have to, when we're trying to do the fundraising and with ideas like that, because it seems so easy to talk to somebody until you try to talk to them, and then it's where you have to talk to this person, that person.
Yeah.
But and Lewis has a great idea, because I was telling Lewis, I think what started that, Lewis, wasn't I talking about certain industries or whatever, that if they do for every dollar they made, like selling tickets, like my nephew or somebody else doing a concert for me,
mm-hmm.
and for every ticket sold, $1 or $2 went to our organization as a donation. That donation is tax deductible for that corporation,
mm-hmm.
or that whoever's got that venue. So it gives them something in return for what we're getting in return, and they're helping people along the way. So if it's a restaurant, we could possibly get them, for every bill sold, they donate $1.
Yeah.
And that's how that kind of came up, I think. Weren't we talking about something like that when you?
Yeah, we were, because we were talking about your nephew.
Yeah. So that's a good idea. We just got to get in there and find out what we need to do. And so next coming, once we get the actual license in hand, because I got to make a portfolio. So when I walk into a business, and we walk into a business, it'll have everything in the portfolio showing who we are and what we're about, as
mm-hmm.
far as, and letters of recommendation for people, and also our mission statement and why we're doing what we're doing, not just that we're doing, why are we doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
So
so we'll keep you guys updated with that within the next couple of months. We're really gonna try to get this going. We're pretty much close to being ready to go. And like Mike said, we can start now if we want to, but we want to be able to have everything that we need, and then we're going to start pushing forward. And then, of course, if anybody who's interested in volunteering their services to help with this organization, you're welcome just to reach out to any of us, myself, Mike, any of us, and we'll give you more details on how you can help be a part of this. I remember, we're doing this for a great cause. We're not only doing this for Mike, but we're doing this for a lot of other people out there. I got my sister who's battling cancer right now. I got my niece who I just found out is battling cancer now too. So we want to be able to help many, many people out there. So
breast cancer.
See, and Jen's aunt has breast cancer. So we want to be able to go out there and educate.
She's in remission, but she's doing good.
So we want to educate, guys. So any little bit of support we can get with social media, whatever have you. If you're a small business, you're interested in working with us, we will give you advertisement on the website once it's up and all that stuff. So we'll keep you guys updated. But before we get ready to go out of here, do you guys have any final things to say? I want to say to Kevin real quick. Kevin, I hope you enjoy your cruise next week because I'm gonna be jealous as all hell for not being able to.
Take a lot of pictures.
I will be enjoying it thoroughly. I can guarantee you that.
Be careful, buddy.
Oh, I will. Believe me. The funny thing is, Ryan and I were out the other day. We were down at the beach going to buy shot glasses for a shot glass exchange with a Facebook group we're meeting on ship. And there's this lady jogging. I don't know what made me think of this. She's jogging down the road. She crosses the street. She's looking at her phone, doesn't realize the median, the height of the ground changes at the median.
Yeah.
She ends up spilled all over the ground, phone flying, she flies. I mean, we stopped to see if she was okay, but you know, her only thing hurt was her pride. But
Right.
Oh my God. What about you, Tony? Anything special that you want to say to anybody?
Man, just keep it locked, man. I got a few surprises up my sleeve coming up too, man. And I'm all down for the calls, Mike. Man, anything that you need from me from my end, it's locked, baby. It's locked. I'm on it.
Thank you.
And don't forget, guys, next week, DJ Tony Sanchez will be inducted a week early into the Hall of Fame. His head is getting bigger. Wait a minute.
Love you guys, man. For real.
Are you sitting in the yellow jacket with the logo on it and all?
Oh, man. Kevin, you stop. Stop.
Am I to expect some big red shoes too, Kevin?
Yeah, he's gonna have his bust. You know, they're gonna make a bust of his head. You know, we're gonna have that in the Studio B, right next to Mike's bust.
Hey, you get two busts together, you know what they call them? A pair of busts.
Exactly. The problem is that we had to put Mike's bust outside because his head is too big to fit in the suit.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Woo-hoo.
But I love
we
you
love
guys.
you, Mike. You know that.
All right, Mike. Any final words for you, my friend?
Yeah. Jen, keep
Yes.
the citronella away.
I need to read that story so everyone understands that it wasn't quite me.
I think it was, but I think it wasn't.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get her to read it off another show. But and Jen, any final words for you, my dear?
Just love peace and chicken grease.
Peace and chicken grease. All right, y'all. With that being said, we will see you guys next Tuesday night for the very special induction of the Hall of Fame and Lifetime Achievement Award to DJ Tony Sanchez. Don't miss out, y'all. Much love. We'll see you guys next week.
It's Elizabeth.